Hey Sam, how's it going? I will show you how I use follow along path in the other tools like Toon Squid and Alight Motion. First, I'll show you Alight Motion because I'm a lot more familiar with it. I use it a lot. Alight Motion does it differently than, let's say, Toon Squid and Adobe After Effects, because Toon Squid and After Effects, they do it similarly. But in Alight Motion, we first start with the object that we want to move along the path. So here we have this triangle. I'll change the color for preference. And then we need another shape which the triangle will follow. So we can use a circle. I'll make it larger. And then remove the fill, turn it into an outline. So now we have these two layers, our triangle and the circle. Now, to create this effect in Alight Motion, we select the triangle, then we go to Effects, Add Effect, and then we look for the Move Along Path effect right here. I will not use the preset. I will do it myself from scratch. So what this effect does, now that the triangle has Move Along Path as an effect, now what it does is that it will allow the triangle to follow the outline of any shape that is directly below the triangle. Let me just rename this a triangle just so it doesn't confuse me. Triangle. All right, so any shape that is directly below the triangle, Move Along Path will allow the triangle to follow the shape of the circle in this case. So we need to get the circle down below it. I need to use my finger, and automatically Move Along Path puts the triangle on the edge of the path. So this is how Alight Motion does it. And to see it in motion, we need to animate the progress property of Move Along Path. So we go to the start of the timeline and we put a beginning keyframe. Then we move to the end, and then we add an ending keyframe. And so the result looks like this. So Move Along Path, it automatically, in Alight Motion, automatically puts the triangle on the outline. And then I will just put an ease in effect, ease in, ease out. So it looks a little cleaner. And another common feature that goes along with this follow along path is this one here. In Alight Motion, it's called Rotate Automatically. If you turn it off and you play the triangle again, you will see the triangle stays facing in one direction. But when we turn it on and we play this again, now the triangle rotates in a circular motion too. It rotates according to the shape of the motion path. So follow along path usually comes with this rotational feature here. So this is how it's done in Alight Motion. And instead of a circle, we could easily use a square. Make it bigger and just place it directly below the triangle. And now the triangle follows along the shape of the square. Even if we make it invisible, as long as it's directly below the triangle will follow along. We can also create a custom shape, like let's say we're gonna make an S-curve. So I have to do this with my finger real quick. Then if you turn off the fill, turn on an outline, then go back to edit the shape. the vector shape and try to create an S out of it real quick. Alright. It's a little finicky in Alight Motion. Do I need this? Some sort of a mesh, I don't need this. Delete. We want an S. Alright, okay. So now I will take this shape and place it directly below the triangle. And it follows along the path. Now if the motion shape is a little shorter than the animation for move along path, it still works. I thought it was not going to work. Alright, so this is how you do it in Alight Motion. You can turn this off and it would stay in one direction. Now in ToonSquid it's a little different, and the way ToonSquid does it might be easier to implement in Linearity Move. But I'm looking forward to see what you guys come up with. But this is the way ToonSquid does it is the best way I can think of that it could be implemented inside of Linearity Move as it is right now, if you can't find a space to put it in without making the interface complicated. So okay, in ToonSquid we look for the vector shapes, and I'll take a triangle again, change the color. I want to make it smaller, and instead of creating a new shape for the path, instead of going down here creating a new shape for the path, we can create the shape of the path within the keyframeable properties within the position property. So I want to create a starting keyframe. So the way I do it, I just nudge the shape around and a keyframe pops up, and then I'll go to the end of the end of the layer, the triangle layer, and I will move this across. I don't want the animation to be 5 seconds long. Let's do 2 seconds. Whoa, what's going on? Let's use my stylus. All right. And in ToonSquid, when you animate the position property of the triangle, it creates this. You can see the shape of the motion. You can see the shape, and so this is a regular basic motion. I will turn it into an ease in, ease out motion, and so you can directly see every stop that the triangle will make between start and end keyframes. And now ToonSquid, because this path is visible, if you look, the nodes, the start and end keyframes are diamonds. You can actually click on it, and you can change the shape of it right there inside the position keyframe, right there on the canvas. Compared to Alight Motion, you gotta go into like the properties tab and the effects tab and do that. With ToonSquid, you can do it right there in the thing, on the canvas. So that might be easier to implement in Linearity Move the way ToonSquid does it. However, with ToonSquid, before, one more thing I forgot to mention. The way to make the triangle, right now the triangle is facing one direction, but the way to make the triangle rotate along the motion of the path is to select the triangle, then go into its properties. I will pull this down to make more space, and then click on effects here. Similar to Alight Motion, I guess. You gotta click on the effects tab, and then you go down to orient along motion path, and as soon as you do that, I slide to the left to go back to the main properties. As soon as I do that, now the triangle moves the triangle rotates with the path. I don't know why it's glitching at the end. I don't know why that's happening. So yeah, and if I turn it off, now the triangle continues to face one direction. And this is the way that After Effects does it too. You can, within the position keyframe, the position property of After Effects, you can create different shapes and paths and so. So ToonSquid and After Effects does it similarly. However, with ToonSquid, if I wanted to, I gotta click my cursor to see the shape. If I wanted to create a circular path, it's not gonna be a smooth animation anymore. Let's see what I can do. Put this here. Can I use my mouse to do this? All right. Symmetric. It's a little more finicky. So I want to create something similar to a circle, or at least like a semicircle, or a semi-oval, I guess. And if we play it now, you can see that it's not smooth anymore. So if we go into the easing, I think if I put ease out here, and I put ease in at the beginning, I mean between the first two keyframes compared to the last two, ease in, I think it gets, yeah, you can achieve the smooth effect. But to make a complete circle, might not be as smooth. We need 4 keyframes for a circle. Because if I add in a 4th keyframe, like I want to add a keyframe here. So let me see what I can do with this. It's already finicky. Looks like an oval. Becomes, well, it's still moving smoothly. I thought it was gonna be a choppy motion, but I would have to play around with this to really understand if I can use it for circular motions. So that's that. It's better for S-curve motions and, compared to circular motions in ToonSquid. And in Orient Along Path, to make the triangle rotate, you gotta click on the Effects tab in ToonSquid. You gotta click on the Effects tab. Like in a light motion, you gotta click Effects. So in Linearity Move, if we wanted to move this circle around, I need to raise this higher. It would be cool if when we clicked on position, then we can see the shape of the path come up and we can edit it. Because I was thinking of other ways you could implement it, and I couldn't think of anything that would keep it simple, keep the user interface simple. But again, I would love to see what you guys come up with after you figure it out. And then, so yeah, if you do it like if you implement it the way ToonSquid does it, you could let the motion path for position pop up here, and then like within this animate tab, if we click to add animation, you could have a setting here that says like rotate automatically or orient along path or something like that. Okay, and here's some examples of what you can do with follow along path, or what I used it for. So a neat little trick is, if you have a circle following along the path of an oval, making an oval shape, you can create this appearance of depth simply by changing the size of the green circle right here. So clicking on this circle, I will go into the scale property to get the scale keyframes up, and you can see that at the start of the animation, the scale keyframe, the circle is small. In the middle of the animation, the circle gets bigger, and at the end of the animation, the circle is back to its original size, and that creates an illusion of 3D depth. So that's useful for like loading animations and even logo animations too. We would have to use masking to allow it to go behind, masking, or maybe changing the z-axis property of an object which was inside the circle to be able to create something cool with that. But that's a neat little way that beginners can enjoy using follow along path in Linearity Move. And some other examples, I tried creating a leaf falling, but it's finicky. There's too many keyframes, and that prevents the movement from being a smooth motion. But yeah, that was like a failed experiment. And we can also create this effect here, like swoosh, a trailing effect. And I use this to create a lettering animation, which is coming up. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, right here. It's a little laggy here because there's so many layers within groups and so forth. So I will show you what it looks like after I exported it. And that's what you can achieve with just the basic follow along path and masks. So I did this in Alight Motion. This design is not mine. I just created the animation from scratch. But I took someone's animation, their GIF, and I copied it. I put it next to my iPad and I copied it. So that way I learned how to do it myself. But I did it from scratch. I did it in Alight Motion. And now I think ToonSquid can also do the same thing. I will show you an example that I did in ToonSquid, a very basic example. ToonSquid beta. Okay. Is this it? Yeah. Very basic example in ToonSquid. Actually, no. All right. In ToonSquid, I can create lettering animations using masks. But that trailing tapering effect, like this is unique to Alight Motion and After Effects. I was able to achieve a similar tapering effect in Linearity Move here by playing with the stroke property of this line. Stroke. I changed the stroke into the brush type stroke. But if I was to let this follow along a path, it would face in the same direction. It would not, as it is right now, it would not rotate around, which would be really cool to play with. I can show you how I do this in Alight Motion. It may inspire some ideas if you guys have the time and you think it's a priority. So the way I do this, let me delete this and start all over again. And I'll close this. So we have the circle that we want to use to create this effect. This is more like an advanced tutorial, but I mean, it's to inspire you if you feel like pushing it that far. Okay, so in a light motion, there's an effect called, I go to repeat, and there's an effect called linear repeat. So using this, I need to use my finger, you can create multiple instances of the circle. And there's a property in there. I was playing around and I found something called, I found scale, and when I moved it around, it created the taper effect for me. I reduced the scale down to 0, and gradually the circles begin to taper. Now I just add more and it looks like one uniform line. So this is how I achieve this tapering effect in After Effects. And that's how I was able to make this animation. Simple. And look at how beautiful it looks. So we can do so much with the iPad. And I love linearity moves. I love linearity moves interface. It's so nice to animate in this app compared to a light motion. A light motion is really finicky. I made this animation using masks. And so I know that I can animate letters too. I can animate letters the same way like I did in a light motion and Toon Squid. The only thing that I was not able to do right now, all I need to animate letters is masks. But to create that trailing ball, to create this animation, I can't. I can only do it in a light motion right now. It would be nice to do it inside of linearity move. Oh, another quick note about the interface here in linearity move. When, let's say, I'm working on a logo animation for a client and I need to fine tune the keyframes a bit. When I want to move keyframes around, I usually get a problem when I'm using my stylus. Did you guys fix that? I'm happy that I can move it easily now. I'm so happy. Before it was a problem, but it looks like you guys fixed it. I'm really happy about that. It's working. Okay, never mind. And thank you. Let's see. Okay, so the way that, okay. But if we take this and we try to put it along a path, like we add move along path to this tapered effect, it doesn't work. It suddenly disappears. Even if I animate it real quick, it doesn't work. So what a light motion did, I don't know if they didn't do it intentionally for this effect, but what I found out is a light motion has another effect called repeat along path, and it combines both linear repeat and move along path all in one. So it becomes a little more complicated to animate the same effect with repeat along path, because now instead of animating one property called progress, we're animating two, start and end. So first I will create the tapering effect by adjusting the scale property of this effect. And there's this weird glitch or whatever, there's a giant circle at the end of this when start is at 0%. So if I move start just off 0% with my finger, not the mouse, I got rid of that. So it's a little glitchy, finicky. So I need to animate the start property first. So I go to the start of the timeline, add a keyframe, then go to the end, and then bring it to the end, but not all the way to the end, otherwise it glitches. So the start property moves the biggest circle, the original, the first circle. So now we gotta do the same thing for the end property. Right now the end property is moving the tiniest circle, and it's at the end, and we gotta bring it to the beginning. So I'll bring it to the beginning. It's moving really slowly. Wow, took a long time to get to 0%. Maybe my iPad is lagging. Oh, probably. I need to close some apps for space. For to free up the memory. All right, that's good. Back to Alight Motion. Okay, so I'll set a keyframe for the end property, which moves the tiniest circles. And when I get to the end, the slider is moving slowly. Usually when I swipe on it, it will continue spinning after I move my finger off, but I might need to reset Alight Motion for that to happen. All right, so the effect is there, but we can't see it because both the small circles and the giant circles, they're in the same position. So to fix that, I take the small circles and I let it get to the end later than the bigger circles, and now we can see it. We can see it moving. When I play it back, we get the nice tapering effect, and we need to increase the count to make it smoother. And then I will just add an ease in, ease out curve to start, and an ease in, ease out curve to end, and then we got that smooth effect. And if I bring the end keyframe a little closer to the start keyframes, the tail is shorter. If I bring it out further, the tail is longer. So yeah, so at some point maybe you guys can make room in your mind to implement this. It would be awesome for lettering, you know, to push 2D animation to its limits, I guess. But there are other ways. You could go the Toon Squid route and add bones and stuff, but I like vector animation, which is what Linearity Move is about. So yeah, and then we could swap this out for another shape. Let's see what happens when we use this hexagon. Oh, is that a hexagon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, hexagon. Okay. Now I need to bring it, put it below the circle, and now when we play it, it achieves the effect we want. Beautiful. So I guess that could be used for logo animation in some way. Another simple way I implemented follow along path in a practical example is with this map. So this map is basically a PNG image with a dotted line on it. I have this PNG, I have this here, this PNG image, this PNG file, and a rectangle behind it, just a regular background. And I have these 3 instances of like a GPS marker oscillating up and down. And then I created this shape layer so that the car could follow. So when I turn the car on, it has the move along path property on it, and it's following this shape here. So when I press play, the car will follow. The car will follow the path on the map. So follow along path will definitely enhance the property, the feature, enhance what you can do with Linearity Move. Also, here's some more examples I found on a YouTube video of using follow along path.
A long path animation provides a creative way to express motion.
In After Effects, this guy is creating this complicated motion with the follow along path principles, but this is the same as your bouncing preset in Affinity Designer. Create a bounce effect put it inside a group, and then animate the position of a group, and you get that bounce. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, boop, boop. So yeah.
You can create intricate and complex movements that might be challenging or time-consuming with other animation
Skip
techniques.
forward 5 seconds.
I hope you understood the versatility. This to express motion. You can create intricate and complex movements that might be challenging or time-consuming with other animation techniques.
And so these are 3 examples of how we can use follow along path in logo animations. It's a lot of swishing and swirling around.
Versatility. This technique is versatile and can be applied to various elements, including text, images, icons, or custom shapes. I hope you understood the motion path concept with these explanations. Now, it's time to show you.
Alright. I will leave a link to this YouTube video in the email that I sent you. So in this video as well, you can see it will show you that After Effects achieves this effect by allowing us to change the shape of the position property, but it's somewhere in there. I'm not too sure where. Yeah, I will link this
Under the
email to you
shape,
so you can
you'll see the path
find
option.
it if you want to.
Simply click on the stopwatch to add a keyframe in the timeline.
He's gonna copy this path and he's gonna paste it inside of the position keyframe, but I'm not sure where on the timeline that is. All right, I think I touched on all my examples. Yeah, okay. All right, best of luck. I hope this inspired some ideas and showed you some practical ways that we can use the animation. So it would be nice to see how you implement it. Also, I'm really happy you guys fixed the interface here. Make it allows me to nudge keyframes easily. I noticed that creating custom easing curves is not done yet, but still I was able to create this animation because you guys allowed us to manually enter values for customizing the easing curve. So that's there. I'm loving the interface of Linearity Move and looking forward to the new updates you guys achieve. Thanks for your listening ear. See you later. Let me know if you want me to create any more examples that could help serve as a guide or inspiration. I'll be happy to create the examples for you. All right, take it easy. Bye.